I want to do a few videos with the theme of different archetypes. The archetypes are very intriguing, and it's different personas, different representations of a manifestation of different characters. And one that's really interesting that I want to hear people talk more about is the archetype of the seeker. And I just want to start describing that and open a conversation about it. I think most of us are seekers in a way, because being a seeker is having that curiosity, or for me, an undying curiosity. And it can be a great thing, but it can be a blessing and a curse, like many things in life. But it's having that wonder and curiosity and amazement for the things of this life, the mysteries, the phenomenons, the ineffable grandeur that we behold, and also the innocence in recognizing your own naivety. I'm trying to think of a word that doesn't have like a negative connotation to people, but I don't think naivety should have a negative meaning necessarily, because people, it's like naivety is something that's like out of your control until you learn either how to learn or like start to grok and like have perspective or orientation around with your world and your disposition in the world. And so I just see it as something that really makes life worth living is a fascination for things, and usually a seeker is someone that is comfortable with putting themselves in uncomfortable situations and makes that kind of part of their trope, and like a good challenge. And maybe that wouldn't always be seen as being like a seeker to be challenged by things, but to put yourself in a new environment. It is kind of being in a new environment is a little bit of a psychedelic. So I've noticed like there's parts of my brain that are just more awake and more aware because everything's new, and it's like you're more wide-eyed and in that state of wonder a little bit more. Change is really difficult for some, but for a seeker, it's often someone who also has like wanderlust, like feels the freedom in traveling and having new experiences, like quite regularly. So, being a seeker, I would also describe as someone who's maybe not so much afraid of the unknown, but dives into the unknown. Like the kind of person who will, instead of slowly get into the pool or the ocean, they'll run in the ocean or just dive into the pool, go straight to the deep end. And I think that's kind of a characteristic, maybe a microcosm of like what that kind of personality is like. And someone that likes hearing anecdotes and stories. I love hearing other people's stories, and that's kind of part of the reason I'm putting myself out there like that is, I guess part of my aesthetic is for me to be the artwork and also be an example of what I also want to glean from other people and their experiences and their wisdom and ways of saying things. I really appreciate an aptly said a description or like distinction to make amongst things, a contrast, and other people's viewpoints can really open my eyes or some examples in like other videos. They usually don't come to mind right away. But being a seeker it's a wondrous and can be a fantastical place to be, because you are also living in the awareness of anything is possible. And of course bad things are possible, but equally also good things are possible, and it seems impossible to have one without the other in this world. At least that is predictable, you know. There is a certain amount of predictability. And yeah, there's just so many aspects of life that as an observer are very mysterious, and I like the word ineffable. That is like, can't be described in words. And that's part of where I feel like music can be a further expression. Like music can go farther because it also conveys maybe like a wonder or nostalgia or cathartic expression and emphasis on different things. And it can be very eloquently and beautifully done. And that, in my eyes, is artwork. And it's one of the things that really makes life worth living. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'd love to also find other seekers along my path. And you know, deep calls to deep, I guess. But I'd love to hear other people's perspectives as a seeker and their disposition being in that frame of mind or that character, that archetype. And I think there's like a classic like 12 archetypes or something. But there's a lot of different variations, and it's fun to try to describe those and put words to them. Because words to me are also like, it can be like poetry. It's like, not that I have to be all that extra, but it's fun. It's fun where you leave room for it and it works out. Anyway.